as a young boy, for
Yeah.
example, I when you go to a Rama temple, you have a Hanuman temple right next to it. Hanuman is the monkey god, right? So when you pray to Hanuman, what were you doing? Or you were absorbing the stories of him, his courage, his sacrifices, his Hanuman was very loyal to Rama, was very loyal to Rama. You understand about friendship. For friendship, what did he not do? He went all the way to Lanka. Okay, they burned his tail. He could have died in the process, but see, still, even if you think about it as a mythology, it's still, he risked his life. He went there. He didn't have the courage at first. People around him had to tell him, remember, you did this. Don't we tell that to people? Remember what you did in the past. You can do this. You can ace this exam. See, and Hanuman is in the form of a monkey, right? Intelligence, knowledge, the friendship. There are so many aspects of him you will get from the idol.
All right, Hemanth, thank you so much for returning to the show, joining us again today. And you reached out to us about a subject that you thought would be really good for your audience, our audience here, and it's the defense of idol worship.
I love this. It's so interesting.
I thought maybe maybe to get things rolling, because you had this idea, where would you like to start?
I think it's from a worship perspective or from a thought perspective. What is an idol? See, many religions, especially Abrahamic religions, right? They one of them patently abhors idol worship. Two of them, it's you have all kinds of idols in the churches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
All kinds of idols in the churches, and people pray to the idol, and this is, in Indian philosophy, idol worship is essential. Idol is not just about the divine captured in form, but it's a portal. It the idols allow for creativity. When you sculpt an idol, basically, you are not just carving a god. You are carrying and opening something in out of your consciousness. You are looking at imagination. You are looking at something that you can talk to, may not talk back to you, but maybe that's why you create the idol. And also, what do you connect with in life, right? See, for example, you want to tap into the divinity. You want to tap into divinity. How do you do that? You tap into divinity through okay, a way of worship is, okay, we don't know the extent of divinity, so we will use some verses to get approach divinity in a way. We cannot imagine the shape of divinity. You cannot even see it. The um, the giantness of the hugeness of God, you cannot see. So you have to, and people say, okay, that's why God is formless. So we have to worship God in a formless way. But I think that's where often, idol worship is derided, saying that you're worshipping to stones. Well, what do those stones carry, right? Those stones carry a lot of belief, lot of hope, of the believers, whoever they are. I am coming from an agnostic point of view. Imagine, and I am defending idol worship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not about it being abstract. Devotion need not be abstract. It can be tactile.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Psychological, even maybe.
Yeah, I come from a civilization that kind of carries like thousands of forms of the feminine deity, thousands of forms of the male deities, and it's all preserved through stone. You can look at from mostly in the southern part, because on the northern side there were Islamic invasions, Turkic invasions to be exact. They plundered and plundered and plundered and made sure that in the north, other than the temples that were hidden in the jungles or through vegetation, most of the temples standing there were destroyed. Most of them were destroyed. The only temples that stand mostly are in the southern India, southern part of India. And you can see that it is all preserved through stone. And that's why it's important to understand what is idol worship and why do you do idol worship. What kind of portal does it open? Okay, let us take an example. I think I'm going philosophically, but let's take an example. Let's take the example of Shiva. Shiva is worshipped in the form of his linga form. You know what's a linga form, right? It's a phallic symbol.
I think I know the thing you're talking about.
Yeah. In fact, it is on my channel as well. I can share with you. Please feel free to share it with the audience as well. That particular idol. That idol, I saw it in Asian Arts Museum here in San Francisco. It troubled me a lot when I saw the idol, because that idol would have been the object of worship of so many people back there who know about the idol, what it means. So why is he worshipped in a phallic form, and what does it represent? Well, if you see a linga, it's a phallus, and it's over a what they call a yoni. Yoni is the female form. Okay, so it's a object of creation. You have matter. Matter is the stone, and you have the energy that forms the Shakti or the power. Shakti is Parvati or his wife, Shiva, Parvati. The amalgamation, matter and energy. You are combining matter and energy, and that's what you're seeing through the stone. Now let me come to why Shiva is worshipped that way, and what is the philosophy behind it, the interesting part of the philosophy behind it. Apparently, one time, Brahma and Vishnu were fighting. Brahma and Vishnu, not fighting, they were arguing. They were arguing, one is greater versus the other is greater. And apparently a big ray of light came through. A big ray of light that spread through the universe, one side to the other side. So it was decided that whoever reached one end of the light, they won the race. And there it was decided after a certain period of time they would come back and assess, if they've reached the ends of the light. So Vishnu went in the form of a sow, that's his form, the boar form, and he went down, while Brahma was a dove or a swan, or he went up. That is his form. So he went up, Brahma went up. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the protector or sustainer. So he went down. So after a while they came back. Brahma decided to boast that I've reached the end of the light, and Vishnu said I could not reach the end of the light. Then that ray of light became Shiva, and Shiva cut one of the heads of Brahma. Brahma has 4 heads, so he cut the head on top of one of the heads of Brahma, and Brahma cursed Shiva that you will not be worshipped in your form, you will be worshipped in this form, which is formless, basically formless. And Vishnu, of course, he was the sustainer, and he spoke the truth. He did not give in to ego or anything, and so the Shiva was mightily impressed and said, Vishnu, you are the sustainer, you will be born into many incarnations. So you will be able to sustain the living, help the living when they are there. Okay. Now let's consider this philosophically. What are we talking about here? Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is the sustainer. Okay. It's a battle between creation and sustenance. What does that mean? So once you've created, do you need more creation? No. You need less creation. Once you created the say for example you created amoeba, that is done. That will, you have origin of species, you have like fish, you have other beings that will come from the single-celled organisms, right? So creation is done at that point. Now you only have protection. That's why the protection needs, he doesn't have to come in godly form. He can come in a human form. Somebody between us, somebody who is helping the community, that can be a part of Vishnu. Whoever sustains, right? And how about Shiva? Shiva is like the matter and combination of matter and energy. What matter and energy combine to give is light. You might think that I am rationalizing this, but I am not rationalizing this. If you think about what is going on, in this cosmic play, that is exactly what is going on. People are trying to find out, if we throw a ray of light, how far it will go to know the extent of the universe, even today.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that basically explains some part of that. Even that idol, if you see that idol, that you are going to show, that idol will show Shiva in the center, like like a light beam, and then at the top you will see, on the right you will see the dove, at the bottom left you will see the boar or the sow form of Vishnu.
So this is interesting as a defense of what's going on here with these idols, like what the real deal is, and the symbolic meaning, and the power to open portals, the power to explore science, even explore scientific principles, all this different stuff. But I kind of want to, if it's okay, and I can say some of my thoughts in response to what you're saying.
Yes.
As a learned man in this, you still claim to be agnostic, correct?
Yes.
So, as an agnostic person, like some of these are good. Some of these are ancient symbols and stuff like that. Absolutely. And I've got this image in my mind of like a conductor of an orchestra. You know the guy I'm talking about? Yeah. He's up there and he does this, and the people in the audience, like with a company of sheet music, they react, and he's orchestrating them, And sometimes people with knowledge of something, they orchestrate what's happening. And I do kind of think of Sadhguru a little bit, and some of the things he constructs. He's got like that giant Shiva head, right?
Yeah.
That which people are putting their focus into. And I'm thinking, if something were to happen and we lost all these texts, there was a great fire or the internet went down and we kind of had to start from scratch. And as an agnostic person, I wonder, do you think it would make as much sense if people started building new idols, like something new with creativity? Interesting,
Absolute creativity. But think about it this way. Say, for example, okay, the entire world collapsed and the only things that are left are the Marvel classics.
Yes. Yeah. Thor, they got things to look up to.
Marvel universe is left.
Yeah.
Does the Marvel universe capture the logic of the universe?
No.
It doesn't.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What captures the logic of the universe? Either science or some kind of a theology that is universal in nature.
See, I've thought about this, right? Because you kind of have to acquiesce to something, which is there's multiple religions, meaning the fact that the religion that you're talking about, Hinduism, is ancient in nature, and it does seem to parallel some of these things. You can find similar things within Christianity and Islam too. Symbolic, rich things. I actually one time was sitting around and I was going, what if we've reversed it? What if even the way we understand science actually mirrors and reflects what we started off believing, which was these creative spiritual endeavors. You know what I mean? Like the way our minds work and what we consider truth or repeatable factual stuff is still mirroring ancient things that we carved out from a long time ago. Like it almost becomes irrelevant of an observation because we're still talking about as objective as we can get. How objective can we get in science and all these different things? But I wonder if they mirror back and forth, you know?
I think so. As long as it is a scientific process, and you see, one of the important things about scientific process, scientific thinking is, if you get a better knowledge,
you update it.
Refine what you thought was a fact.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I'm not saying facts are subjective. Facts can be viewed from a lens. You know, at what level? See, recently, the light photon was split. The photon was split. Now, light can be both a particle and a wave. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle tells us that it can be both a light and a wave. You know, but at what point does it turn into a light? At what point does it turn into a wave?
Right.
You know, so you can refine the facts with science as we go. And I think that is also the beauty of the civilization that I come from, that it has always sought to refine, even with some of the basic framework that, I mean, it's got so many frameworks, right? Not just one framework. So even with all these frameworks together, I think that there was always refinement that has been going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see it sometimes in overt versions. Like if you look at something without the context and without all the nitty gritty details, you could say these people are worshiping different than they did for 40, 50, 60, 100 years ago, like in some cases.
Absolutely.
That is a refinement of religious practice. And then I was just going to say, for some reason, I'm not really sure why. I think it's because of the nature of where you come from, which is an agnostic scientist kind of apologist for Hinduism. Sure. Is the idea of, you know, you're familiar with Star Trek, the Prime Directive? Yes. You know what I mean? Where they they don't interfere. Yeah. And I'm coupling that with the orchestrator, you know, which I think has potential to be offensive in a way. My own thing that I'm saying, meaning, let's say we found some people who were, how do I say this most politically correctly? Like, I think things can be understood at different levels. You know, if you, depending on what capacity you have to reason and think, you might understand something deeper, but not be able to communicate that information to somebody. In which case you'd go, well, it's not the complete truth the way I can explain it to you, but I can explain it to you adequately enough that it's going to align you the right way. Now, who's the authority when it comes to that? Who is supreme intelligence enough to like make that decision? I don't know. I'm not pointing any fingers anywhere for that. But I wonder if that's an aspect to this, because let's say within your own life, you got to a point where you sort of transcended that, like you branched off, you refined so far, if you had some capacity to like be ahead of the curve on this, that it became difficult for you to explain your insights. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of a complicated thing. I don't want to bore people. What I'm saying in a nutshell is it possible for somebody to understand the things you're talking about so thoroughly that they start to be unfamiliar, like they start to be not as obviously transferable between people? You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between yourself and somebody that is devotionally worshiping an idol to some degree.
To some degree, yes. But at the same time, I think, see, I don't believe that I have refined myself to a particular thought process that is superior. That is stupidity.
Okay.
I have a point of view because of the experiences that I have in my life. Others have different experiences in their lives. They are traveling with the philosophy that they have in their lives, you know, and as long as my philosophy doesn't affect others, and their philosophy doesn't affect me, it doesn't matter.
What's the difference between stupidity and intelligence, though?
Stupidity and intelligence. Well, stupidity is something that you do because you believe in it so badly that you are about to do anything for it.
Right. So stupidity is possible to exist.
But it also affects other people. You can be stupid sitting by yourself, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that if that stupidity is going to affect people, our society, our community, then you have a problem on your hands.
But you could also be intelligent and affect people in a positive way.
Okay, you can. Absolutely, you can affect in a positive way. And I think the other day you watched Ravana, right?
Yeah. We just did again. We actually just reacted to his hymn that he made for Shiva.
It's a Shiva Tandava Stotra.
Yes.
See, Shiva, when he dances his cosmic dance or what, that stotra is done by Ravana apparently, because when he was under the mountain, the weight of the mountain, that was his way of devotion to Shiva. And I was watching with interest as to what you were thinking when he is underneath, the mountain, the so-called mountain, the Kailasa mountain, when Shiva does his dance, cosmic dance. Well, what happened afterward, right? That's what you wondered. Okay, he was given a boon afterwards because he wrote a great literary thing, and at the end of it, again he went back and he kidnapped Sita. Yeah, but I think that also shows you that intelligence has also limits, and again that intelligence affected somebody else. He could have done it more positively. Ravana, he was a very knowledgeable person. See, there was no need for Ramayana to explain Ravana to be intelligent. They could have said he's pure evil. See, people always have this thing about pure evil, pure person. Rama had his faults. Ravana had his faults. But Ravana's evil is much greater than Rama's. So Rama was able to defeat him. Okay, and of course it's a story of good over evil, but what kind of evil was he, right? So think about what kind of evil was he. First things first, he kidnapped Sita. Okay, it affected one person, two people, three people, and a kingdom maybe. And then what? Rama asked him to return respectfully. He didn't. He sent messengers after messengers, told Ravana, please spare your kingdom of hardship, spare your kingdom of destruction. Please give me my wife back respectfully. Ravana did not do it. Instead, he put his entire kingdom on a path of destruction. Very intelligent. One voice was enough to destroy his entire kingdom. I mean, of course, Rama at the end of it, what did he do? He bowed before Mandodari, his wife, and said, I am sorry for what I have done. I had no other choice. And even when the women cried for their husbands, he was able to tell them, they fought in a war that was not theirs to fight. They fought on the behalf of Ravana. So again, you think about evil and good in different ways when it comes to our civilization.
I have an idea.
Shades of gray. Yeah.
I have an idea about this, and this comes from even some of the Hindu videos that we've reacted to in the past. Yeah. And it's the idea of it's not that an idol is wrong, but that maybe the idea of an idol is to eventually transcend its use.
Sure.
That it could be used as a point of focus almost as spiritual training wheels to get you focused on whatever you need to focus on, and then eventually along the spiritual path somewhere, you don't necessarily need to hone your focus in on that physical object anymore.
Yeah.
It's more just I don't even know how to explain it, but
as a young boy, for
yeah,
example, I when you go to a Rama temple, you have a Hanuman temple right next to it. Hanuman is the monkey god, right?
yeah,
So when you pray to Hanuman, what were you doing? Or you were absorbing the stories of him, his courage, his sacrifices, his Hanuman was a loyal, was very loyal to Rama, You understand about friendship. For friendship, what did he not do? He went all the way to Lanka. Okay, they burned his tail. He could have died in the process, but see, still, even if you think about it as a mythology, it's still, he risked his life. He went there. He didn't have the courage at first. People around him had to tell him, remember, you did this. Don't we tell that to people? Remember what you did in the past. You can do this. You can ace this exam. See, and Hanuman is in the form of a monkey, right? Intelligence, knowledge, the friendship. There are so many aspects of him you will get from the idol.
But you can get a lot of that stuff from Thor too.
You can get it from Thor too, but Thor, did he? What did he do, Thor, at the end of it?
I don't know. He lost an eye. I'm just saying characteristics is stories about characteristics that are virtuous versus consequences for being selfish, essentially. Like
as an example, let me interrupt just a bit though. For example, when you think of them as not real, see, for example, Marvel, heroes, I get it. They are in books or whatever.
I'm not into them.
Doesn't matter. When Star Trek, doesn't matter. You have some mythology around the Star Trek. You have some mythology around something.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's seeped into history, if you go to any temple, any place in Andhra Pradesh, in my state, for example, there is not even a village or a town without a Rama temple. If you go follow what they call supposed footsteps of Rama, where did he come from? Ayodhya. Ayodhya is near Delhi. Delhi is like north. You can think of it like central part, maybe Wisconsin, maybe, yeah. So, and then he walked down south and he went to Sri Lanka. So all the way you have temples denoting what he did, whom he met. There are stories, and then there are folk tales. There are all kinds of things surrounding this mythology. The mythology itself is so powerful that it draws you in. It has drawn an entire civilization that survived for 5,000 years. There is not even one other civilization, maybe, okay, you can call Egyptian civilization survival. I don't know what to tell you, because we don't even know, right? There is no survivor of Egyptian civilization that can tell you about all the different aspects of Iris. Nobody. But here it has survived because it has seeped into the civilization. Not just seeped into civilization. That's why there are so many stories that were created around these characters. And in the end, when the mythology becomes powerful, I think people tend to get into it, and then you find that portal that you are looking for. That is an idol, and you find that portal. You open up your consciousness to understand the universe. That you are nothing in front of the broader universe.
It's interesting because at one point we the topic of like superiority came in there, and the topic of intelligence, and I guess I walk a little bit of a lonely road in the sense that somebody could explain to me that someone's intelligent, like, oh, they might take a nefarious character like a serial killer or something and be like, his IQ was really high. But I go, but he couldn't stop himself from killing people and now he's in jail forever. That's an idiot. I don't care what your IQ is. You're an idiot to me.
Yeah.
And I do kind of believe in a superiority, inferiority hierarchy when it comes to certain things. Like, for instance, let's say there was a religious belief that was relatively innocuous. In fact, it might even bring people together, like in a community. Like, this is good for the community. And it teaches the children stories about not being thieves, not being selfish, and actually being part of a community. That's good. But, and this, I'm not connecting this to Hinduism. Let's just put this into a fake religion that doesn't even exist. There are religions in reality that reflect almost like a religious scientism in the sense of like, I don't go to the doctor if I'm sick. I pray it away. I depend completely on my faith to fix this. And that has actually caused some people harm. It's like, well, that's, you know, if you get sick and you don't use the scientific understanding to cure what you're doing and you rely solely, and I'm not even against using faith from now and then, but it's limited in a sense. It's like, that's where when you talked about like, I'm not refined, I'm like, I do think that refinery should exist in the sense of, let's not throw out the good stuff that religion might have to offer, but it should be coupled against new information. And it seems like Hinduism is actually a good religion for that, capable of evolving with the times, because science and medicine would fall within the domain of God's creation. They still exist within the same thing. There might be a faith healer that's able to heal people with faith, but actually still needs to take diabetes medicine himself, because for whatever reason, that's just how the molecules have arranged themselves. It's like a supreme version of validating everything, but with still some regard for some of the laws that play out. You know what I mean? Like, you would if you knew somebody you cared about was walking into a fire because they just had faith that they were going to be protected from the fire, you might tackle them down and be like, I'm not going to let you go in there. You know what I mean? I believe that my view of reality is superior to yours in this moment, so I'm not going to let you burn yourself to death.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's all I meant by that initial thing.
I agree with you. A lot of people, have this blind belief that, just because you pray and pray and pray, something will get cured.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is that prayer for yourself or for a particular act to happen? Is it to heal yourself?
Right. It could be either. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you are not taking into account the fact that medicine is going to help you.
Yeah.
Faster than any faith can. I mean, maybe some people's faith has helped them. I'm not going to discount that.
Right.
But rarely it happens, and we think that it's a accidental quirk that the healing happened, right? Because we have this issue with certain missionaries who come in to India, and they're all like healing people. They're healing people with no legs. Suddenly, people will be running, yay! And then it's just has become pretty wild out there.
Yeah.
Like these faith healers have come, that supposedly heal anything. Blindness they cure. They cure people who are handicapped. They start running. People without hands, they begin to operate.
Despite the facts of the situation.
Despite the facts of the situation.
So it's hard to know. You know what I mean? Like let's say if I've got little kids, like I believe in precision. I'm adverse to things that move away from an attempt to be as precise as we can get regarding things. But I mean, I can entertain the possibility that every now and then deception could be used to steer something into a direction most people would agree was better. You know what I mean? Like the classic thing, if a bad guy comes into a school and he wants to hurt a bunch of people and he goes, "Where's the kids at?" and you tell them the wrong direction and it saves everybody. In the same way, somebody may not understand what is helpful to them. Like, say you had a dying elderly person you cared about and they're like, "I'm not going to take the medicine," and then next thing you know, you're like putting it into their food and they're like, "See, I told you God would heal me." And you're like, "I had to do that for," you can't tell them. You know what I mean? But you know that you orchestrated something to some degree that was going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I'm just pairing that against sort of what you're saying in terms of a defensive idol worship. Like it's pretty, I offer you the opportunity now, if you want, to talk more about opening portals, because that's got a ring to it. Worshipping these things opens portals. I want to know more about what you mean by that.
Portals of what? It doesn't. It's not
Yeah.
like a. It's not like a.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
It's not like a black hole that opens
Right,
one side
right.
of the
Portals of your mind, whatever it is.
or find another portal. I think it's more about tapping into your own consciousness in terms of the effect that it has on you and you have on the community as well.
Right.
I think the portal to see somebody can be very faithful, very faithful, and it may open up the portal for them. Okay, I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good. It's only for you and maybe for your family. Okay, maybe that does a larger good, a bit of a larger good, and maybe you have good kids, because of that, because you've raised them right, in the same thing. Portals open up different things in your life. All I am saying is that with respect to the idol worship, you are the reason why we in India we respect idol worship is because it opens up creativity, it opens up knowledge, it opens up thought, it opens up so many different things. See, for example, I'll tell you, if you go to I don't know if you know about Kailasa temple. I don't know if you've made a video on the Kailasa temple. Kailasa temple, it's near Yellora.
Okay.
Ajanta and Yellora, they are pretty famous. They are caves, Ajanta and Yellora caves. Okay, and there you have a lot of Buddhist monasteries that were set up back in the 1st century AD to all the way to 8th century AD. They had continuous, monks that were there. They carved into a hill, basically,
Yeah.
and you have paintings from that time. 1st century AD, 2nd century AD paintings of the Jataka tales, they call them, Buddhist tales that were, beautifully done. In fact, many of the designs actually you still see in the Indian saris. Many of these saris, people go there and actually copy the designs and use them in the Indian saris. See, a lot of creativity had flown there. Okay, now let me come to Kailasa temple. Kailasa temple is one such temple where they didn't build up, they went down into a mountain. They carved into a mountain.
I remember this, yeah.
And they had to remove, tons and tons and tons of, I think, granite. I don't know.
It's like it gotta be a world wonder. It's so crazy.
It is a wonder. It is a wonder. The amount of work that we went in, we were blown away. When you see it, the extent of it, the size of it, you
on a mountain,
blown away. Inside a mountain, you can see it from the top. Basically, you have a way on the mountain, and you can see from the top, and you can see that entire mountain carved in rock.
Yeah, incredible.
And you can all the incarnations of Vishnu are there. Shiva's temple is there. That's why it's called Kailasa temple. Again, the beauty of it, there are some people who are like, oh, Shiva and Vishnu are different, or I worship Shiva, I worship Vishnu, one is greater than the other. Well, there is this couplet, Shivaya Vishnu Rupaya Shiva Rupaya Vishnave Shivasya Hrudayam Vishnu Vishnosya Hrudayam Shiva Yadha Shivam Ayo Vishnu Evam Vishnu Ayas Shiva. Means Shiva Rupaya Vishnave. Shiva, the shape or how Shiva's exterior Shiva is, he looks the same way as Vishnu. Vishnu is the same as Shiva. Shiva's heart is in Vishnu. Vishnu's heart is in Shiva. Both are the same thing. They are not any different, is what it is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you carve Shiva as an idol, a phallic symbol, right? See, and many Indians, I'm sure there will be comments that will say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It is not a phallic symbol. You don't know what you're talking about. Sir, sorry. It's it's a fertility, not just fertility symbol, it's the creation of the universe, symbol of universal creation. I don't know how you are born without that, okay? You don't have to look at it as if it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a phallus on the yoni, the goddess, and it's a matter and energy.
Does the yoni look like a yoni?
Yeah, it does. If you see from the top, it does look like that. You can Google it. You will see it.
Yeah. If it's the thing I'm thinking
it's like
of,
a base.
it's just...
You have a base. You see, you have a base underneath like this. It comes, and then you have the phallic symbol up there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the universal creation. Now they are saying you are the same as Vishnu, who has 1,000 forms. 1,000 forms.
Yeah.
Right? And each form has its own distinct characteristic. And what it means, the symbolism around it, the stories behind it, there are so many, numerous to count.
How do you think people originally came across this information? Because I gotta tell you, from multiple religions that we delve into on this, sometimes it's pretty crazy what ancient information corroborates sometimes with like scientific understanding. It's like, how the hell did they know? And I just wanted to get your take on, do you think people derived a lot of this information from like alternate states of consciousness, or how did they gain the information from like a grounded perspective?
I think as far as Hindu civilization goes, it's mostly about observation and trying to understand the universe a bit scientifically. A lot of the thoughts of energy, matter,
worlds within tiny worlds.
Last time I did Nasadiya Sukta, if you remember that, where they are saying, the sages are saying that okay, it came out of nothing, the world came out of nothing, the ray of light came through and things began to form. And does the creator know that this has happened? Does he even know? That you remember that sukta that I talked about and I chanted in the video. See, there's a lot of universal thinking. Also, okay, another thing, I think you guys also wondered one thing. I am watching your videos now just to see all the funny things that you guys say.
I guess so. Yeah, that's what I want to have happen.
See, you have a higher level deities. Higher level deities are Vishnu, Shiva, Brahma. Okay, and you have a medium, the second level of deities, and then there are tertiary level of deities that you can actually perceive, that you can actually see. As an example, the first verse in Rig Veda starts with Agni. Agni mile purohitam, means Agni is the priest.
Fire god, isn't it?
Agni is fire god. He is the priest that invites the other gods from the other realms. So you are able to touch fire. Of course, you don't want to, but you can feel fire. You can touch fire. You can touch water. You can feel the wind. These are the elements that you interact with, and those open up again portals to the higher level deities. And Rig Veda, talks about it at length. See, there are lots of stupid people. What they do is they do like a frequency. They do frequencies of Rig Veda, frequency of mentions in Rig Veda of different gods.
Okay.
For example, Agni is mentioned like 5,000 times. Vishnu is mentioned like 15 times. Rudra, another older form of Shiva, was mentioned like maybe 100 times. So they think that Agni is Agni, Indra is mentioned many times, 5,000, 10,000 times. Indra is like the Jupiter, Zeus, But they are basically the portals, because Indra is the one who basically orders the rain. Mitra and Varuna to act and give rain to Canada. I'm hoping that they do soon.
Well, it has been. It's been raining today. Finally.
Finally.
You had a question?
Yeah, no. Because we've titled this the defense of idol worship, I I thought maybe without quickly breezing over it, what would be some of the arguments against idol worship? What gets brought to the table? I can only think
That's
back.
a tough question to ask him after he prepared for a.
Well, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that's a very valid question.
I'm just coming from my own personal experience because when we grew up in the church, we came from a denomination that was like against idol worship. You don't have idols. I think there's even a verse in the Bible that talks about like, does a man, go out, cut a tree down, carve it, and the thing that he made, he now goes and bows down to it and worships it, trying to just point out the strangeness of this. So yeah, maybe we could talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows, even the Hindus know that God is formless. God is formless, but giving a form, improves your imagination, allows you to commune with the divine, allows people who are believers commune with the divine in the way that they can, and do good to the society. And why not? Why do you ban idol worship? What's the point of banning idol worship? Abrahamic faiths, generally, because that comes from Abraham, who they broke idols and said, we should not do idol worship. These are false gods. Okay, false gods how? Do they tell you why they are false gods? What did they tell you to do? A stone, does it tell you anything? How are they false gods? Like, for example, what is that movie? Castaway.
Yeah.
He finds
a volleyball.
A volleyball. He finds a volleyball. What's his name? I forget.
Wilson.
Wilson. He finds Wilson. So Wilson kept him alive. How can that be a false god? As long as Wilson is not telling him to, kill other people.
And, right. Wilson could. That would reflect Tom Hanks's shadow self or something.
And also, what it did was it also brought the good in him out.
Yeah.
Because he had no other hope. He would talk to Wilson. He was the only person with him. He would commune with him. And he gets angry. He gets angry at Wilson. In fact, in Indian literature, there is this literature called Ninda literature. Ninda literature is basically, you are saying, why God, why didn't you come here? When there is so much happening in this world, why don't you come here? Are you a rock? The poets, the singers, the philosophers, they do like they cuss at, it's a cuss at gods, saying, you God, you're just a rock. You don't even hear me. And there is a beautiful song in Telugu, Paluke Bangara Mayene. Means you see what happened was there was this guy who built a temple. A Muslim ruler jailed him. When he jailed him, he had a small cell in which he put a stone and he just put some paint on it, and he considered him Rama. So he basically cries for, tells Rama, even word, can you even not utter a word? I say your name thousands of times every day. Can you not even utter a word for me, Rama? So it's like that. I mean, when there is no hope whatsoever, some people feel like God is their companion.
Of course, but the question
an idol can be your companion. And in fact, I'll tell you one more thing. God is formless, right? Sure. There is also a temple called Chidambaram in southern India, where you go there into the temple, there is nothing there. People go there, there's a curtain, there's nothing there behind it. They call it Chidambara Rahasya. Chidambara Rahasya means it's a secret. It's a secret that God is formless. So you can have a formless aspect to God. There is a wonderful story with in Vrindavana with Krishna. Krishna, in Vrindavana when he was growing up. By the way, Krishna means dark. You know that, right? Krishna means dark. Somebody who is dark.
I didn't know that.
Krishna means dark. So you are worshipping the dark Lord. Okay. We worship the Dark Lord.
All right.
So the Krishna, when he was growing up, these people were trying to appease to the gods so that rain will come. And Krishna told them, why are you worshipping somebody that you don't know? I mean, you don't even have a connect with them. Indra is like a Zeus or Jupiter. You don't have any connect with them. They are not like Agni, fire god, or the the wind god or anything. So why do you worship? You worship the mountain. The mountain is called Govardhanagiri, and he asked them, he goaded them, he pushed them and said, you need to worship the mountain. The mountain gives us everything. It gives us the grass that feeds the cows. The cows give us milk that way. We can go and play on the mountain. We have so many things that this mountain gives. Why don't we pray to the mountain? And they said, yes, absolutely. And they started praying. And Indra, the story goes that Indra started raining. He ordered the rain god to be severe on that place. And when he did that, there is a famous statue of Krishna holding the mountain on his little finger, while everybody else finds shelter underneath that mountain. Imagine that, look at that imagery, that vivid imagery. You have a creator or a sustainer. He is holding this sustenance that gives you, and it is holding you under a certain, it's giving you the required protection. See how much imagery there is whenever you see a Krishna holding a mountain with his little finger. You know the story, obviously, that you can even pray the mountain, because mountain is your sustainer, and through the mountain you can open the portal too.
To kind of piggyback off of what you were asking.
Yes, sir.
In debate, which I'm not trying to be a debater or something like that, but the question that you were asking, and I thought what you were asking was almost like, okay, we could talk a lot about the benefits of idol worship. We could defend them, for sure. But if you had to, is there an argument for the opposite of that? Is there a criticism that could take place over the worship of idols? Could you critically think about it in any way? Is there ever a time when it goes wrong? Is that what you were asking? Yeah. I was just some of the arguments.
Even if you worship an idol or anything, what is inside you is what will come out eventually. Okay? Mm-hmm. You can blame the stone. You can blame the formless creator, but it is you who is doing that. The creator is not having you do it. I've heard many of these arguments. Sometimes they say, the devil made me do it. Devil my foot. It's you who's done it. You've told yourself, you convinced yourself that this is the right way to do, right way to go about it, and you did it. And you're saying, devil made me do it.
You can blame the devil for anything.
The thing is that's a funny part. I don't understand this. Like, I find the devil that's talked about in Abrahamic faiths a very silly thing. Very silly. It affects one person. It affects a little girl. Affect Hitler. Or somebody.
They probably think the devil's pro-Hitler.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Somebody who is
some people, it depends on how you look at it. There are some people that take the whole Satan mythos apart, and then they start to see a figure that was actually trying to assist mankind. Like there are some people that look at the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, and supposedly the devil represents the serpent that came up and told them that if they eat from this tree, they're going to live forever. And they go, he was trying to help them. You know what I mean? Like some people. To me, I'm still in the realm of trying to look at it a little differently. You know what I mean? Which is why I keep coming back to I know you have a question, but I'm sort of interested in your concept of idol worship as a portal. And I know it, like, maybe it's coming off ignorant. I don't mean opening a portal.
No.
I mean in the sense that you mean it. What are the highest echelons of that? Because, that you might get to a point where you've got insight that you could share with people that is profound, of a higher profundity than is common. If you really follow this, if you really do this with devotion, something might dawn on you through a mixture of creativity and devotion and all sorts of things that lead you to attain information that might become so advanced that it starts to become hard to recognize from people that are doing it at a different level. I don't know, but that's like for another day.
There are a lot of people who claim self-realization.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't even mean that. I don't necessarily mean that even.
I've told you earlier, I don't believe in living gods.
Right.
I really don't believe in living gods. It's
Do you believe in any gods?
I believe in all gods, okay, but not the ones who are living, who claim to be gods, or people who claim that they have realized a certain level of realization that they are above everybody else.
Yeah, of course not. Nobody who even likes a person like that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even like a scientist who says that I know everything.
Yeah,
people hate those people.
That's true.
Yeah. So, after they pass away, everybody, even Einstein, everybody who pass away, they become an idol afterwards. That's why you call them an idol, right? Idol is somebody who you want to aim for. Idol is the perfect thing that you know.
And we can handle them when they're dead. Yes. When they're alive, it's a nightmare. But when they die, then we're like, you know what? He could be an idol now.
See, blind faith is also not good, right? See, blind faith is also not good. Blind faith in an idol will not lead you astray, unless your mind is that way. But blind faith in a person might, because people are people. People can lead you astray. Other people have more power than yourself.
There should be something said here for your object of focus, because that's what I keep thinking about in terms of this discussion here, because
it does improve.
I've been taught that there's lots of things that you could make an idol out. Like you could make an idol out of money, you could make an idol out of celebrities, you could make an idol out of politicians, on it goes, right?
Sure.
So there's something to be said here, like you pointed out with Wilson, that as long as Wilson isn't going around telling anyone to go, kill people.
Yeah.
But these objects that we focus on and we prioritize, that to me seems to be where the idol worship comes in, is like, what are we prioritizing here? What are we putting our focus into the most?
Is
that the thing that becomes the idol?
It's the qualitative focus on what you are looking at. See, if you are, say, for example, I go to Ganesh and pray. Okay, what does Ganesh represent? See, there are different statues of Ganesh. They all look different, a little different from each other, and you are praying to Ganesh. What are you actually worshipping? You are worshipping the fact that give me intelligence that you have. An elephant, God has lots of intelligence. He brings good things, good tidings. Okay, is what is considered according to the stories. There are many stories where he brings a lot of good tidings when things are going astray. So
removes boundaries, removes barriers.
He removes barriers to.
That's appealing to me, man.
That's appealing to you. So you go pray Ganesh. You go to Hanuman, you get courage. Hanuman is another name for courage. Okay, you go to Rama, you worship the goodness, the good qualities in a human being. You are understanding of dharma, what is the right thing to do given a circumstance. That improves when you pray to Rama. When you go to Krishna, Krishna is the charioteer of Arjuna. Arjuna is represented as a man, while Krishna is represented as the supreme being. Okay, and he is guiding you. So Krishna, there are lots of people who worship Krishna, dance, do Hare Rama, they have Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. It's a form of worship, and it is, and they are completely devoted. And if you go to a temple, Hare Rama Hare Krishna temple, they will give you food. You can get food there. It has a community there, all that. So what is wrong?
I want to jump in here.
Yes,
So
sir.
what do we say to the people? Because there are those out there who have their focus on one entity. Say it's a Christian who believes in Jesus, or an Islam who would say it's Allah, and they're taught that their entity has all the qualities that you just went over, and they're being taught that it's you can only praise and worship Allah, or you can only praise and worship Jesus or the Trinity, whatever, because it contains all those things, and everything else out there is a distraction that'll pull you away from it. Why go to anything else when this one entity has everything?
Well,
What do we say? What do you say to that line of thinking?
I think it's limited by human imagination. I mean, how many tasks can you do simultaneously? I mean, maybe you can drive, while driving, you can watch TV or watch, phone, get a message, send a message. How many things can you do as a human at a given point in time? The limitation is on the human mind. The human mind can only see what is in front of you. Your eyes show you an idol. Your eyes, your hands feel the fire. Your skin will feel the wind. You feel the rain. You have so many things. Earth is also, Bhumi is also a goddess, for us. So Bhumi is earth. River, Sindhu, every river is, Sindhu means river generally. Sindhu, every river is a goddess. Ganga is a goddess. That's why she is worshipped. The Yamuna, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Saraswati is a hidden river, they say. And they found some, the way that it disappeared, Saraswati disappeared some time back. But they are able to bring out the satellite images, and a lot of Indus Valley civilization is along the Saraswati river as well. So you have things that you can see. Your limitation is that of a human. Now you have some telescopes where you can see beyond this realm. Okay, some things, not all things. It's limited by your eyesight. It's limited by the speed of light. You can only see it if it is within like 10, 50 light years. I mean, in your lifetime you can see something. If it is at a distance of 50 light years, beyond 50 light years, you cannot probably see it. You are seeing something that happened. That happened a long time back. We don't even know if that star exists today.
Yeah.
So it's all dependent on human limitation. If you pray to all the qualities all at once, your focus is lost.
Right. There's a kind of, in a weird way, I don't think it's going to be expounded upon too much after I say this, but I think that there's a kind of a secret blessing, or maybe an overt blessing, in limitation, in the fact that we kind of, our focus can go to one thing at a time. But at the same time, I'm also interested in compound consciousness, compound mind. The idea of be able to, to me, I'm interested in, let's invent whatever the hell we can do. Let's do it all.
Yeah.
But so here's a tricky question. Okay, I'll throw one tricky question, and then I'll calm down. Any religion's better than others? Is there a religion that's winning, and the other ones are less good, or are they all equally valid? From your perspective.
That's a difficult question to answer.
I know. Forget it. Forget that one. It's too
No.
hard.
I would, the thing is that's a difficult question to answer, but it has an answer.
Right.
A religion that
Does
doesn't attempt to convert you to
What's that?
something else, convert you to something else. A religion that doesn't attempt to convert you to something else. A religion, that is the religion worth pursuing. See, if If you think of yourself as a Hindu, you go to a temple, you worship, you know, you should be free to do it. There is no conversion there. Buddhist, there is no conversion there. You go to a Buddhist temple, you pray there, you know.
So if I went to India, I could enter a Hindu temple and worship even if I wasn't a Hindu?
Even if you are not a Hindu, but there are certain preconditions that are imposed because of historical issues. The historical issues historical issues are, there have been some people who went in there and who indulged in nonsensical activities.
Yeah.
Within the temple sanctum sanctorum, in front of other devotees.
Same with Christian churches. Like most of them are free to the public, but every now and then, like somebody who's like unwell will go in and cause a disturbance or something.
If you go to Ajanta, the Kailasa temple that I talked about, a lot of statues are defaced.
Because somebody went in there with an ill intent.
They went in there with an ill intent. And so there is, like for example, if you go to Balaji temple in Tirupati, it's a famous temple in Tirupati. It's one of the biggest pilgrimages that people go on. He's called the Lord of Seven Hills. He's an incarnation of Vishnu. They ask you to submit in writing that you believe in Balaji before you go in. The only thing that they ask you to do is, we believe in Balaji, will not do any damaging acts. Okay, once you give that in writing, they will allow you in. But any other temple, any other normal temple, you are allowed to visit. You can go in there. There are some rules, like you take off your footwear, because it's a temple is considered sacred in our areas. When you go, see, unlike, say for example, church or mosque are just places of prayer. They are just places of prayer. They are not the abode of the deity. On the other hand, Indian temples are abodes of deities. In fact, the deity has a legal right in India.
Yeah.
Deities have a legal right in India.
Have you been in some of these temples in India?
Oh yeah.
Is it a vibe? Do you go in there and is it like a vibe in there?
I think you have to feel it, first of all. To an extent, if you are from the same civilization, you feel that. There is no way to escape it. Okay, if you are from another civilization, it may feel different. It may feel like, people are, in a trance.
But there might be some mystical physics in there. You know what I mean? Like, who knows with...
Yeah, that might be scary to people who think that, people are in a trance. I don't know what they will do. They're not doing anything. They are going there and worshipping, and they are coming out, and they're pushing and shoving each other to see the deity. Right. And what they're doing is trying to keep that in their mind while they go home. Okay, so this is the statue of the idol, and I have it in my heart, and I'm going back after I visited him.
Bring it into consciousness and then commit it to memory. And then allow it to affect your life.
Seep into your life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you can go. There is no and there are certain places where there are restrictions because of people, not because of God. Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, they are not Hindu gods. It's Indian. They are not just Indian gods. They are universal gods. You have a creator. There cannot be creation without creator, or they can form out of itself, but there is a creation aspect to it, a process to it. Okay, that process itself is the creator. Okay, whether you believe in origin of species or not, it doesn't matter. You have a creation that happens, and you know it. You can see the creation happening. When you have kids, you have a creator. You have they get created. So you have sustenance. While we are living in this world, we need money. And somehow money is a bad thing. No, Lakshmi is goddess of wealth, wife of, considered wife of Vishnu. So you are pairing sustenance with wealth. You need both. Prosperity in life is important. Unless you have prosperity, you cannot think about higher things.
What would happen if the world, 60 years from now was kind of like a unified thing? Let's just hypothetical. I'm not trying to get into a debate about whether or not this is possible. I'm just saying, hypothetically, let's say we had kind of a one world government. There was just country, planet Earth. We were all one group. And by that time, the concept of money kind of became a little bit redundant. Like, it didn't mean anything because the dispersion of resources was, we achieved equality. We aimed for it. That seems good. Every mouth is fed. There's nobody going without. And money all of a sudden becomes something of the past.
Prosperity is not about money or a dollar or rupees or...
That's all I'm getting at. You know what I mean? So Lakshmi might represent just prosperity even,
prosperity.
Right?
Or even, see, for example, if you have a mendicant, a Buddhist mendicant, a monk, who has given up his worldly things. Okay, his devotion is to his temple. His devotion is to his, internal thinking that he has. He has achieved all prosperity at that point. He has achieved all prosperity at that point. Lakshmi is with him.
Yeah.
See, it's all about what you need, what a person needs. Not beyond a point. A person needs. Ravana achieved something, he had everything. He defeated the devas, he defeated, different kingdoms, okay? But prosperity wise, he didn't feel like it. He needed somebody else.
He wanted to explore greed. He wanted to see what greed was all about, and then he still didn't learn his lesson.
There you go. See?
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any more questions?
No, I was just going to say, thanks again for coming out and sharing this. This was a great time to come out and talk about idol worship within Hinduism and even some other religions and faiths out there. Maybe to close things out, if you had like a last thing you wanted to say about it, maybe you could take the floor, close us out here, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I just wish to talk about something that some people might say, okay, about idol worship. Some people say that, for example, the Vedas don't have idol worship in them, or they have banned it. Nonsense. They don't talk about idol worship in there. Doesn't mean that you don't have idols, okay? But it doesn't mean anything is banned that way. Banning doesn't happen. Banning happens by people. In the texts that Indian texts we have, there is no banning. Vedic texts, there is no banning things. Okay, all kinds of you have idol worship there. In fact, they describe the characteristics. I mean, describing characteristics itself means that you are imagining, like they describe how this sun, comes, how brightly the sun comes in the morning, rises up, and then sets, and then how even the different suns, there are like multiple sun gods, so different times, at different points in time, they are considered one type of sun god. Like Savitar is a type of sun god who is coming in golden hue, riding on a chariot. So they have these detailed descriptions of how they view their divinity. So idol worship being banned in or idol worship not being there in Indian text is a bunch of nonsense, load of nonsense. But okay, having said that, I would say this though, idol worship or not idol worship, as long as that is contributing to your inner health, contributing to the societal health, community health, and it's a participatory process of directed social change aimed at benefiting the society at large. I reeled out the definition of what is development, by the way. It is about not only inner development, outer development, your community development, everybody's development. So in defense of idol worship, I am saying this is because things should not be banned because you don't like it, or there is a certain reference in a particular text that this is banned, doesn't mean that other people who worship their deities are worshipping false gods. There are there are no false gods. There might be false demons who are
I wish we
living.
could. I wish we could keep talking a little bit, because I feel like saying is that I'm interested to know how much of a fear or a threat that is within Hindu communities, that the religion, like, is it I'll quickly just ask you. I don't know. We can even cut it if you want. But is it a fear within the Hindu communities that there's going to be that there's new orders that come in that all of a sudden are going that way and saying we need to ban this idol worship thing? Is that even a problem?
I think I was addressing the theological point of view that has a bearing on future generations of followers of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma.
Okay.
Where I am just reiterating that don't get into this mindset that something maybe something hasn't worked for you doesn't mean that the other side is right. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't. You don't impose on other people, and there is a healthy fear in see, in India, for example, you have 80% Hindus still, and there is an increase in proselytization going on there.
Okay.
And there is a healthy fear that the old civilization might disappear, because also Hindus are getting prosperous. Once you get prosperous, you're not pumping babies.
So right, you're not pumping babies, and you might lose sight of some of those old ways.
What is happening in Europe is really sad, for example, and that can happen to other civilizations as well. The beauty of being part of a civilization is being part of a living civilization is the continuation of culture, continuation of thought processes, continuation of rituals. I mean, even as an agnostic, rituals, continuation of certain rituals that can only be a good thing. Diversity is a good thing.
You know how Dr. Frankenstein sewed all those corpse pieces together and made a monster? I'm like that. I'm sewing things that don't belong together, and
the problem is this, though,
just to see what happens.
No, the problem is you are trying to sew it into one person and making them into you are sewing all of them into one person and making them into Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding
Sew
around.
Them different places. Sew them in different places, and maybe you can see.
What I'm saying is, I'm even wearing a evil-looking jester on my shirt right now. I find it, my whole life I'm asking bizarre questions and alchemizing and experimenting with things, because that's what feels authentic to me, is to see how you can get at the truth through doing something that is sometimes the opposite of traditional. You know what I'm saying? Like I value tradition. I see like the fruits of tradition. I see the fruits of discipline and ritual and all that stuff. I'm not trying to deny that, but I sometimes speak on behalf of the voice of novelty. Like, let's do something different. Let's blow the doors open. Let's, sometimes it's fun to see what happens when you shake things up.
I don't know is it a faux pas to ask someone if they have an idol or something that they worship. Do you, even though you're agnostic, do you have any idols yourself?
Oh yeah, plenty. You can see them in my background, don't you?
I could see some things, but I wasn't sure if they were like actual like idols. Like,
so that side it is different, but there are idols. I collect all the idols that I can here. Sometimes I've seen, because of ignorance, people don't know what they are. They just throw them away. I've seen some statues of Puri Jagannath. You have to I'll tell you sometime the story of Puri Jagannath. Okay. Juggernaut. Have you heard the word Juggernaut?
X-Men.
Yeah. The word Juggernaut comes from the word Jagannath. The story goes that every year when his chariot moves, people move it. Like big chariots, they move. When they move the chariots, you cannot stop the chariot. So that's why it's called, if they could not say it, so they called it Juggernaut instead.
It sounds so awesome, like the artistic.
They threw away
creative.
those idols. I got them. I got those idols. The 3 idols. Somebody was throwing away for $5. I'm like, wow. I cannot get them in India.
That's a compelling force. You can't stop it.
You cannot stop it. So I collect all the Indian idols that I can find. My wife helps me a lot in finding all of them. So,
Wicked.
That's cool. I've looked some of them up online. They're pretty expensive, some of them, when you try to buy them straight from the distributor.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, Hemanth. This was great. Thanks again for being on the show with us. We had a blast here, and we learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I learned a lot about myself too. Sometimes when I speak, I guess I learn a little bit more about myself.